What is up, everybody, and welcome back to 2 Times the Grind, and welcome to episode 42. He's laughing at me because
you messed it up.
This is a retake because I said 43, but he had me
messing
up because he said 43, and then we were like, oh, let's just double check, and it was 42, but then I ended up saying 43 anyway. That
was about half an hour ago. I'm just
give or take.
Yeah, right.
Welcome back to the podcast, guys. I probably won't be bringing the most energetic vibes today, so I apologize in advance. I'm extremely tired. I literally just got back from Vegas and just got back from Champs, and as you can see, I probably look worse for wear. I am so tired. You can probably hear my voice also sounds a bit funny because I'm tired again. So I'm gonna be leaning on you today to take us through the podcast a little bit more. You can start being the hosting role a little bit.
Don't do that.
Yeah,
it's a chill one.
It's a chill one today.
It's a chill one.
But we're going to discuss a couple of things. We're obviously going to discuss the fact that season 4 dropped. And when you're watching this like a couple of days ago, and just kind of some of the small things that we've seen so far and our thoughts and feelings on it a little bit. I haven't had a chance to play it yet, but I'm going to play today, funny enough.
Only been a day.
Yeah, it's only been a day, but I'm going to play. I'm going to play today. I'm going to play some Infection. I'm hoping to actually be able to play with you. Depends on what you're doing. And some other friends as well, and I can really get a good kind of feel for it. From what I've seen, though, I have like some type of idea or opinion on it.
You presented the trailer, so you've seen it.
I did present the trailer. I did, yeah. Well, this is the thing. I know what to expect, but I don't know what to expect. Like I want to see it in action. You know what I mean? Yeah. So it's like
that sounded like whoa.
There's also another thing I want to discuss too. I want to discuss about the fact that we won't be seeing it at LAN.
Yeah.
So that's another thing I want to talk about because I actually have some intel on that. Not intel, but just like there's been some things said, so I want to kind of get your opinion on it too.
Cool. They did post a thing too that I'm curious on. You haven't seen it yet. I'll show you after this. I should have showed you before, but they did post a thing that I believe it was like a little. It's not like a trailer. It's just like a little logo looking thing. Looks really like suspicious, like hazmat. Chemical, like kind of like goes with the infection. No, I literally just came out. I don't think you saw it. It was like kind of like an infection theme type of thing with like a logo, and no one knows what it is. But people are saying it's the.
While you're talking about it, I'm gonna watch it with the sound off.
It's only like 10 seconds, so you're chilling. But people are saying it's like an event that goes with the. New season, basically, because they do the events and you play for the rewards and stuff like that. So
is it on HCS?
No, it's on Halo.
Yeah, I'm looking. I'm on Halo Esports. My bad.
Good.
Yeah, let's take a look. I'm just take a little quick look at it right now.
It's only like 10 seconds. Like I said, it's nothing crazy.
Oh, hold on. Okay, I'm with a date.
Yeah, that's what. But so I was like, ooh, what's that going to be? And then people are like, it's the hazmat event that goes with season 4, which would make sense.
Oh yeah, I mean it's literally just a logo, right?
Yeah,
it's cool though. Like that kind of thing is like really cool.
Stuff like that's really cool. I like I think it's dope that they did something like that because it just drives more hype to it. You know? So
no, absolutely.
Because even I'm sitting there going, ooh, what's it going to be?
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like I don't know, but like I said, I think it's just an event that goes with the drop.
Yeah, no, definitely.
Which would make sense.
It would definitely make sense.
But maybe it's a VR. It's not a VR.
I don't think it's a VR. I've got to say, I'm not sure it's VR just yet. But no, I mean, very, very
infection
exciting.
Theme?
I kind of also
it's the gas.
Huh?
The circle closing. No, just joking.
Imagine Halo Zombies.
Now we're on to something.
Halo Zombies. Oh my god, I could get behind that. That'd be sick.
There are people that are like, there are people. Actually, I was gonna say there are people like Halo. There are people that are into Halo lore that are like kicking and screaming right now, like listening to us say Halo Zombies. But like, you could literally angle it like like do you remember the flood?
Yeah.
Yeah, like you can angle it like that. Like that's like a zombie. Like obviously that's the equivalent of like a Halo zombie.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. And that's what you do. You don't have to make it actually zombie.
Like Call of Duty style.
You can make it your own thing, but it's got the same like premise. It's got the same idea behind it, which is really like that'd be amazing.
Halo VR idea.
Because I also think like I wonder how they would do it, just because the kill time in Halo is so much slower.
What, for a battle royale?
For a zombie game.
Oh,
so like for in COD, obviously the kill time is so fast, so it's easier to kind of like be able to kill mass things.
Well, if it's if you put it the equivalent to the flood weren't particularly hard to kill.
No,
there were just a lot of them, so it's kind of the same thing.
Yeah,
like they would actually have low shield.
Yeah, 100%. So it'd be like a little bit easier. And I suppose maybe you get some automatic weapons a little bit.
Battle royale idea.
Yeah.
Halo devs, if you use this, if you are releasing a BR. That's the rumor, obviously, at some point in time. Who knows? 10 years down the line, who knows? You know, like usually in battle royales, there's like the storm or the gas or whatever. Yes. You know what I mean? When you are going to die to it, the flood just take over. The flood just eat your body, take you down. I don't know.
The BR?
Yeah.
Oh, do you mean like the gas is the flood?
It's not. I don't think it would work if the gas is the flood, because I imagine that if this is all hypothetical, but if normally you can survive in the storm or the gas or whatever, you can survive for a little bit. But like my idea was like, I don't know the name of them per se, but there's like the flood. There's these the really small ones. You know what I'm thinking of? They're like really fast.
Yes.
And it's like, imagine if like when you're literally like you die, you see like almost like a cinematic thing of like them running to your, you know what I mean? That'd be really cool.
100%.
I probably didn't say that very well, but hopefully you get the idea.
It's all right. Sometimes it's really hard. Like this is one thing that I would say about
game development
or just anything that's creative like that. That is like an idea in your brain that you have to then put physically out there. Sometimes I'm just like, I don't know how people can do it.
Yeah.
Because like you could think of one thing, but you're having to describe it. And what if you're not describing it quite the way that you see it? Like how are you supposed to
and then someone spends like months to make
it,
and you're like, nah, that's not it. Like, nah, that's not what I meant. It's
so embarrassing. But like that must be some serious challenges sometimes. I feel like it's hard to not have like a really good physical creativity in terms of a skill, like art. So for example, like
because you can draw it,
you can then try and draw it and kind of illustrate what you're trying to think and trying to do.
They probably do that, to be fair.
But if you don't have that, but you just have sick ideas, imagine how difficult that would be.
I have all the ideas without the creative ability. Yeah, I have all the I do.
All
like
the idea and
I can make a game. Like like I'm really.
It's the opposite way, because like the saying is all the gear and no idea, but you've got no idea and all no. You have all the ideas and no gear.
Exactly.
It doesn't work
exactly.
Well. But yeah, like that would be a really, really interesting concept for sure.
We'll see what the event is though.
Do you want to? Should we start with champs?
Yeah, I think we talk about champs. NYSL.
Damn. That was insane.
Yeah.
I was watching that in the audience, like in a section, like so I was like off to the side in like a VIP section, and that was wild.
It's probably one of the most dominant finals that we've seen, let alone in Call of Duty,
ever.
But probably literally across many games, even like even Halo. That was a beatdown. NYSL,
was a beatdown.
Best team in the game, hands down. 3 event wins.
Oh, without question.
Locked it up with champs.
What a way to close out their season.
How was the event? You had fun?
I had so much fun. It was so good. I could not believe how welcoming the community were and how
that was awesome to see. I was really happy. I was happy for you seeing that.
I truly did not think that would be the case. I was actually a little bit nervous about saying that I was going and going. And there are lovely people in the world, but there are a lot of also bad eggs as well.
Yeah.
But wow, I did not expect that kind of like welcome back. So that was really, really
nice.
Awesome. I met some really nice people. Community. Had some, really cool fan interactions too, like lots of them actually. It was really nice. And it was so fun. And working with the talent team again was amazing. It was it's like you haven't been apart.
Yeah.
So it was just awesome. And I was so happy to also work with Ali again, like Ali Cat.
Really cool opportunity for you, because it's a little bit full circle. Because I remember your last year. Yes. Of COD, you didn't get to do champs. They did an in-person one, and it was
COVID, and I have
things were
extremely health, problematic family members like we do, and
at the time everything was unknown.
Everything was very unknown.
It was like, we don't know what to do here.
Yeah, we'd had the whole season not in person, and then kind of it was hard because I had to assess things and look at like. The risk factor of it, and like even though I'm not immune compromised or anything like that,
just
my family are, and it just God forbid, it was tough. So like you said, full circle. It was really nice to be able to go and experience that. Yeah,
shout out the community though.
It was sick.
Welcome back,
it was
WP.
Sick. And also I got to work with Bryson Tunn again.
Yeah,
Bryson Tunn, the casters for the CDL. I did my first ever esport event with them when I was 22, and just sick to like be, like we kept saying like look at each other like look at us right now,
like,
man. Like kept saying like
who
look at us now. Who would have thought?
You know the Paul Rudd meme?
Yes.
You know what I mean?
Yes, I do know.
Like look at like who would have thought?
I know. It honestly it was just a really
That's
cool
awesome.
moment. So loved every second of it. I did miss you though. 6 days in Vegas is a long time.
It is a long time.
Let me just say that.
I saw everyone saying that, funny enough, too.
Yeah. I mean, I think it's like a renowned thing, isn't it? Just Vegas is extremely intense. And like, it's funny because I didn't really go out a whole bunch.
No, you did. No, you really didn't.
And I'm really at all,
still felt
actually.
that way.
But I still felt exhausted because it's just like you walk out of your hotel room and you walk into a casino, like immediately. Like you get out the elevator and you're in a casino. And it's just like, I think it's just the energy is so intense.
That's what I was about to say.
7 in the morning, there is EDM music in the lobby in the hotel, and I'm like, oh my god, I just woke up.
I think that's probably why people say that, because like, like people are like 3 days is like the max or like whatever.
3 days is a good amount.
And it's funny because like you said the same thing. You're like, obviously 6 days us being apart, that's a long time for us, but you know, like you said, like I saw everyone saying the same thing, being like, I can't wait to go home. And it's like, it's not like people are like, you're not going clubbing every day.
No,
or like, I know you specifically weren't, but like other people too, like they're working, you know, and they're still saying that the same as you. And I think that was going to be my guess. I think it's just like the energy.
It's the energy. Yeah. It's a very intense.
Like you walk down and get a coffee in the morning, it's just like.
Oh, it's a rave.
You know, you just your slot machines.
I know, it's just insane. Yeah.
You surprised about Champs at all?
Am I surprised?
Yeah, like, you know, outcome-wise, you know, you had NYSL,
I am surprised
Toronto.
that we lost 100 Thieves in OpTic so soon.
Yeah.
I would definitely say that. I do think that the competition level was clearly very, very high, and we had teams really show up for Champs. I think there were certain teams that definitely played up rather than, like, I think maybe playing to where they probably would have been placed in most people's minds. So, like, you know, teams had significantly better Champs performances than they have had all year. So, and hey, look, that's the time to peak, right? You know, it's like that's the time. But a lot of upsets were caused, and I mean, FaZe I think was a big kind of shock to a lot of people. But then you also look at the way that Ultra and NYSL have been playing, and you kind of also can see them in the top 2. So it's like, it's really strange. It's a similar thing with Halo, with like you, OpTic, and SSG. It's like you could see any of those 3 kind of like being in that. But I think COD has even more of those kind of teams. You know what I mean?
So COD is like NYSL, Toronto, LA Thieves, FaZe, obviously, OpTic. I mean, that's 5 teams already. I mean, you're talking about, is it, so like, how many teams are there? 8?
8, yeah.
I mean, you just named 5 teams. No offense to the other teams.
No, exactly. You know. But it's just like,
Rocker, by the way, Rocker almost beat NYSL round 1.
I know.
NYSL
reverse
5-0s, the reverse sweep, and then they 5-0 Toronto.
Which, by the way, the day before that, they were 3-0'd by Toronto.
Yeah, they were 3-0 by Toronto. It's very flip-floppy, but, you know, just day to day.
Yes.
I think the thing with Call of Duty, I think this is a thing in all of gaming, personally, and especially for, I was going to say console games, but they're not played on console anymore. It's PC. Games are a lot easier now. So I think the thing that I'm noticing with these games, and it's just my kind of take on it, I'm not a Call of Duty professional, you know, and just esport expert. Is that fair to say? Okay, relax with that. I'm an esport expert. Is that fair to say? Because I've been playing a really long time and competed a long time, and I've watched a long time. You know, and I've been around every scene for a long time. The big thing that I think that I've noticed is that games have gotten slightly easier.
Yeah.
And that's not necessarily, it's somewhat on devs, but it's also, we're just playing on better machines. We're on higher frames, higher hertz. Auto aim picks up more. Like, there's just overall a more ease feel, if that makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
And then skill ceiling has gone up.
Yeah.
So what you're having in my mind across a lot of these games is every game is, in quotations, easier. The skill ceiling has only gotten better. And then what it really comes down to is just who's the most buttoned up in terms of their team gameplay. That's what I think the biggest difference is, like, who shows up that day with the best teamwork. Obviously, you got to have a little bit of, like, hey, some people are frying. Yeah. But overall, it really seems like it comes down to, like when I'm watching, like, NYSL play, their teamwork, you could just see how disciplined they were, how the teamwork they were using, and stuff like that. And I think I think that's probably the difference maker. You know,
it is definitely a difference maker. I also think that's something that was very apparent at Champs also was like individual players who, if they don't turn up that day, don't do well, or if they do well. And it's quite interesting because it's not the players you'd think it is. It's not the main superstars of the team. It is players who make a huge difference to that teamwork dynamic. So for example, on Seattle Surge, if Mac plays a really solid game, that team's probably going to be beating anyone. Yeah. So like if Mac plays a really solid game, like never mind Sib and Pret, like who are nasty, but who are always consistently nasty.
Yeah.
If you have your kind of like almost like anchor player like Mac being able to make certain plays or like turn plays that Pred and Sib start making into game-changing moments with objective work, or just being able to clear the field and get a kind of like a 4 dead situation, it makes the biggest of differences. And we did see that with Seattle Surge kind of like taking charge where Mac was having ridiculous
Surge
games
have a really
and
good
stats.
roster, and that's where it's always tough. Every league team has such a good roster.
And then NYSL is Kiz. Like Kismet, he like the only reason that grand finals was a 5-0, and like this is obviously going out on a hot take and a limb here, is because of Kismet. I do think like NYSL, based on the way that they were playing that day, were going to take that championship, no questions asked.
But he was frying.
But I think the way that they took it, the 5-0, 100% stemmed from Kismet, because he was insane, ruthless. They couldn't breathe, they couldn't get anything going. Like Ultra just couldn't find anything to work with. They had nothing. They were always on the back foot, and that's because Kismet was putting up the numbers, so they were always like 2 dead, really, really difficult. And then 3, you have then the superstars, the rest of your team, who are able to go out and just gunny every single chal, every single fight, and basically rinse and repeat it. And that all really did stem from Kiz. He was getting some serious numbers, and some of the game-changing plays that he made, like staying alive in certain situations, just getting into the hill when he needed to get into the hill, control. I mean, he was outstanding.
He was lights out, and that's what I mean. Like, there's like very clearly going to be individual plays that happen, but then like, not to like counter your point, but like something that I noticed, you know, I'm at home, I got it up here watching it, and like one thing I noticed is like, okay, it's literally game 1. P1 happens, they win all their gunfights. So like everyone's frying, they win all their gunfights. Priest is playing, getting ready. He's early rotated. He's getting ready for P2, and they hit out. I don't know the map. I don't know the map name, so you're gonna have to bear with me. If you know the map 1, you know what I'm talking about. But so he's setting up for P2, and they're hitting him out in the back. So, and rather than like over channeling and ego channeling or anything like that, he rotates more towards center, like towards P2, where his teammates are, and he just holds a heady. And just doesn't move. And I'm not joking. Someone on Toronto was there waiting for him. It was probably like 45 seconds. Just did not move. Like he literally refused to move. And finally, the guy, I don't know who was in Toronto, but he like opens the door, tries making a good play. He tried proning down and like outgunning him, and Priest just killed him. And I'm like, it's so funny how it works, because like that, people don't necessarily know Kismet's going off, but that kill gets you all of you got 100%. All P1. That kill, that discipline gets you the next one.
Yeah,
and it's
next
like
rotation.
That's where it's like, man, like
that's the big thing. It's actually mid kills get you some really clean rotations, and a lot of people forget like that. Like, although Priest is not doing a whole bunch there, he's just holding, like you said, a heady for like nearly a minute, like near a minute. Like that being,
it might have been less. It felt like a minute.
Yeah, being able to like get that kill and do and get that job done, which is exactly what he was planning for, and timing it perfectly is job done. Tick. We have the next rotation. We have a decent hold now.
And I feel like, you know, look, I watch a lot of Call of Duty, but that's where I felt like NYSL and the team, and honestly, I say NYSL, but it's any team that was winning at the time. I always noticed plays like that, because what would happen with, say, a different team was that he'd be holding the back, he put some shots down, and he probably, like, hey, he might have ego chowed and died. Yeah. You know what I mean? But it was like, and that's like what a lot of other teams do. Not necessarily that NYSL doesn't do ever, but in this scenario specifically, I was like, damn, like that was a really good play. Yeah. And it's just, it's like we, you know, I say the word all the time. I said it with our Halo team, like the discipline of knowing like, yeah, you might get that kill, but it's not necessarily the end all be all. Just great teamwork. Very individuals frying. Yeah. When it's all clicking for a team, it's hard. And that's what NYSL had.
Yeah. Without, clicking like crazy.
Everyone's frying, discipline, insane. Teamwork.
Hydra is, I've got to mention him because, you know, season MVP, just incredible. Yeah, I mean, you know, you can say arguably, but really, it's not. It's not an argument.
3 event wins, a bunch of MVPs.
I mean, just
Champs
frying
win.
all the way up until the end.
The Champs win is the
obviously
the
like
stamp.
the solidified. Yeah, but you know, I just think that like he is phenomenal as well, just absolutely phenomenal. So. And big shout out to him as well, who improved his English throughout the course of the year as well. So his English has got so big.
That's be tough.
Well, I'm sure it will also improve his game a lot more because of the communication level and stuff.
Yeah.
Speaking of comms, moving through at Champs and a little bit the shockers, I think obviously the big elephant in the room, and I say that because they had the most fans in the room, is obviously OpTic.
Yeah.
And when we had a listen in, their comms were not very good. I will say that, and I feel bad saying that because look, I love OpTic, I love the org, I love what they stand for. I love the fans are bloody amazing. We are Greenwall stands, like you're an OG OpTic, and I just love the backing that OpTic do have. Yes, they do have the most pressure on their backs because you should hear that room and the way it sounds and just like the disappointment that came from their loss in that room. You could have heard a pin drop, as opposed to when they're doing something good, the roar, like that they're blowing the roof off, so a lot of pressure on these boys. But I will say, going into a listening, I don't know if you heard their listening at all. It was not very good. It was honestly one of the worst I've heard.
I don't know if I heard the listen in this event, but
it's not great.
It's funny and also not funny, and this is just my perspective of it. I would like you saying that. I'm not surprised because I thought it in the previous events that I watched too. I was like even when they were turning up, I was like, oh, like I don't really like that. But when they were getting second place and stuff were going well, I'm like, hey, like it works for you, it works for you. You know what I mean?
Say though,
I used to think that about the Splice team in Halo to make a Halo reference. I would listen to their comms and I'm like, oh god, like that's so different to our comms. You know what I mean? But if it works for you, hey, it works. You know, but. I think
I've got to say it's a bit strange because it's like almost counteractive. So like Ghosty is doing the main communication at the moment, so he's IGLing, and his comms are pretty good. Like I can hear like it's weird. You can really hear it quite differently, and so it's like, oh, I know when Ghosty's speaking because it is direct, quicker, a lot quicker, with intention. I think is probably the main thing that I picked up on. Like the rest of them. The other three, it is rough, and I don't know if that's just because that's how they like to talk, and that's just what they want to do. But hearing like, he might be here, I'm not sure. Yeah. Oh God. Yeah. Like it's and like taking up the channel with like, I don't know where he is. Like I'm not sure. Could be here. Like, shall I do this? Shall I do that? Yeah. Like it just felt really off. Yeah. Is what I would say. It felt really off. But I don't know. It could have been something that definitely kind of led to the result in terms of like maybe they just weren't vibing as the team. They weren't feeling it. Like something was a bit off. Who knows? I think a lot of things can go into a potential like disappointing loss at the end of your season. Because let's face it, right? That team is extremely skilled. They have a very, very high skill level. So, there's a lot of consideration and factors I think that go into potentially like taking a loss like that. Yeah,
I mean, it's like you said, they have the most pressure on them by far. They have the most fans. OpTic is just a winning org. It's one of the best orgs you can play for. Fans, owner, all across the board. Like it's just incredible spot. They're in a tough spot. Obviously, they didn't have the two events that they would have liked. I don't remember. They got double first rounded at the Toronto Major, and then they would they get this event top 6, I think, but for their standards, it's a win or it's a loss. And I think that's a very, very that's obviously always going to be a tough spot to be because winning is tough. They're catching a lot of flack right now. They're not going to be, in my opinion, they're not going to be the same team going into next year. Be interesting to see kind of what they cook up. It's tough. I don't know at the end without being like in the camp. It's tough to say 100% like what's the reasoning of what maybe and it's just because they have high expectations. It's so easy to sit here and it's so easy to sit here and critique them. No, they're incredible. They're they're so individually talented, like you said. It's just people expect them to win. So when they don't,
what do you think
it's the same thing with the face. Same thing with the face team.
Because I was going to ask about that because it's something that has been going around the rumor mill is. If they didn't win champs here, they would be looking for something a little different. Yeah. And a lot of people are kind of calling out like Slasher. And it's not because he didn't play well. I think it's because they, in their heads, imagine that surely it could only be him that was changed.
Yeah.
I don't know how I feel about it.
It's a really tough spot. I have no. Listen, I know I'm on phase. I have no inside info at all to this. Just want to make sure that's very clear.
I didn't even think about that.
No, I know, but just it's said. I really don't know. It's interesting because it's one of those things where you have like 2 years in a row. Look, the thing that's crazy about FaZe, honestly, and it's like I have a lot of respect for those guys because it's so. Oh, man, I don't know what their worst placement this year was. A third. I'm trying to FaZe.
Yeah, and they have been top 3 all year.
It's like it's just so, and I know they won a major and they're top 3, and it's so hard because when you really step back from it, you're like top 3 all year is freaking ridiculous. Like, you know what I mean? Like in that environment, in that game, we're talking about how it's flip floppy day to day. Like you're still getting top 3 every single time. Obviously, again, same thing. High expectations. They're going to want to win. The fans want them to win.
Yeah.
People, I think, are pointing to Slasher because that trio is so set. Cell, they have such a complement. Cell, Abizi,
it'd be almost like it would be almost heartbreaking to break them up because it just they've worked so well. Such success, I know.
But it's hard because it's 2 years in a row of just not what they wanted. Again, I have no insight. They replaced RCD. They got top 2 all year with RCDs. They replaced him. There were like rumors that I think there were rumors and even confirmations that like they were going for a couple other players before Slasher. It didn't work out. But so they go on Slasher and then now it's like, I think that's why people are now, because they went for other people first. It's like, okay, well, they're just
like maybe they're going to filter.
Are they going to try
AR,
to go do it again? Yeah. Like, kind of thing. Like free agents are popping up. Yeah. So it's tough. It's tough. A lot of people are getting on them about like their play style and stuff like that. I'm
snaking.
It's not even just that. It's just like I saw like Nade, a clip of Nade getting on Cell's back a little bit about like he's dropping these like crazy numbers and they're losing, stuff like that.
Yeah.
There's some validation to it, and then others it's like, well, it's tough because what do you would you rather? I see Sensor saying it about Dashy, and it's like there's some truth to it, and then there's always a middle ground. You know what I mean? Like a lot of people take the extreme. There's always a middle ground. Like, okay, you're not necessarily wrong, but at the same time, like a little bit. It just depends.
I'll say though, Beezy I thought was phenomenal.
Yeah, he was playing lights out. Beezy had a great year, I thought, altogether. So I guess I just thought you could see they were really incredible. I thought you could just see that they weren't necessarily the dominant force that they wanted to be.
I got to meet Beezy's girlfriend at Champs. She was so lovely.
That's cool.
So, and actually I got to meet Jerica as well, which is Simp's
you talked for a while, but the first time you met.
Yeah. So just really nice girls as well to like see them as well was so lovely. That's another thing I think is really cool about going to these events and Champs. Like I have these like almost like online relationships with people, but you don't really get to see them very often. So it's nice to like be able to be like, oh my god, hello, like in person. It was nice.
Rostermania is kicking off already.
It is.
There's loads of rumors floating around. It'll be interesting to see what kind of happens. I feel bad for people because at the end of the day, like, I always say this, like people catch blame. Like people are blaming Slasher or whatever. Slasher had so many great games and moments. You know what I mean? Like it's just in these games, Halo Infinite, Call of Duty, it's the 2 that I'm most knowledgeable on, so I'm gonna leave it at that. But probably goes to pretty much every game in esports in general. It just comes down to like your flow and your teamwork, and this. It's like it's not really an individual thing,
unless like
is
someone's had an absolute shocker, right? Absolute every game. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
every game. Apart from that.
But even when that happens, like say like
you got to question why that's happened.
Say like Simp is going because like people have said like Simp wasn't as consistent because previous years like Simp's the best player in the game. Like you're watching.
Yawning. I've never done that on podcast before. That's why I'm so tired.
You're working hard, baby. It's okay. We got to go in a couple of days here soon or a week.
I know. Kill me. No, I'm joking.
Literally
I'm
very
excited. I just need to sleep for like 20 days.
You got a week.
Oh, damn.
Use Simp as an example. Yeah. Okay. He is one of the most individually talented people I've seen play the video game, right? Like ridiculous. People are getting on his case this year because he's not going like super, super pause, right? Like some games you go super pause. I think he literally set like a kill record.
He has.
But listen.
Yeah.
So
someone was like, nah.
Yeah. So so obviously he still puts up ridiculous numbers, but he's had series where he just hasn't done necessarily the same, right? So the point I'm making is that, so people would say, oh, well, he had a rough series, right? And it's like, I always look at it as like, well, maybe he did. If you asked him, maybe it's something that he thinks, but what I really think it is like the team dynamic, the team gameplay led to that.
100%.
Because
I agree.
he didn't all of a sudden, and by the way, we're using him as an example. I'm not picking on him here at all because he's ridiculous.
No.
He didn't all of a sudden forget how to shoot his gun. You know what I mean? Like he didn't, if he dropped, if a pro player at that caliber who gets top 3 all year goes neg 10 in a game, they didn't all of a sudden start losing all their 1v1s. You know what I mean? It's just a team. There's a team flow, a team dynamic.
I feel like that happens in Halo too. People get really weird about stats in Halo, and it's actually nothing to do with the stats. Sometimes somebody can have a really rough game, but at the end of the day, like you said, it's usually because the team has not done something correctly, or something's gone wrong, or whatever it is. And just, I don't know.
If you're an objective, if in Halo you're the objective player and you have a bunch of ball time and you're on the back foot the whole way and you're dying over and over again because you have to keep playing the ball. And then, by the way, when they have the ball, you don't get the overshield. Say you're on live fire. You don't get the overshield.
Yeah.
Your teammates have gotten the sniper. Where are your kills really? You know what I mean? How are you going to...
I feel like we're channeling personal rage.
This is a little bit. This is my own personal feel. No, but it is a thing.
No,
though.
It's interesting because it's happened with champs, and it's happened with people, and it's you can relate because you often do take that role. And I'm not saying that you go neg. I mean, look at the event from
Dallas.
Yeah. You were insane. You had in that final you had the most KD on your team.
Yeah.
But there are moments where you take one for the team, and you'll happily do so to make sure the objective is done.
Yeah.
And therefore you will not pick up the overshield. You will not pick up the power weapons.
Yeah.
You will get the oddball, and you will happily stay there and rotate when you need to get the ball. But there are players like that everywhere, because at the end of the day, that's what you got to do to win. Yeah, you will do whatever it takes to win, regardless of the stats and regardless of the way it makes you look. And I think that, to me, that's typical AF.
Thank you. That's gas. No, it's just it is my own personal feeling, but it's just a thing in gaming. It's and that's why I can relate to it. If you go back to the Dallas event and you go to was it the finals? Yeah, the finals, Live Fire King. I went plus 13. I had most kill time, whatever. I'm gonna pat myself, a little bit here. But the point being is, the reason I bring it up is not because of me. It's because of my team.
Yes.
The way the flow of the game worked allowed me to do that. I happened to be picking up the kills. I also was singing the hill.
But that's the perfect amount. That's teamwork.
Yeah.
And it's going to rotate like that. And one day it won't be you. It'll be someone else. And it's just that flow state is so important.
Exactly. And to end off the point is that, okay, we were in the driving seat the majority of that game. But it's when you're not...
Yeah.
Then all of a sudden your numbers go from here to here to there. And that's what people don't understand. It's I use me as an example because honestly I prefer talking about me than trying to reference other players. But it's again, same thing. I didn't all of a sudden not be able to get a kill.
No.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And that's kind of the point, is that when things are going really well, numbers are gonna look good, stats are gonna look good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I
completely
play. Agree. Team play 100%. While we have about another 10 minutes left, let's round things off by talking about season 4 that's come out, and just give our thoughts and feelings on it, because I feel like we just had a great kind of integration of COD and Halo together. It was really nice, actually.
Well, it's the two that we follow the most at the end of the day.
That's our
we
flow
love them
state.
both. Yeah, it was.
Yeah. Anyway, season 4 came out yesterday, but if you're watching on time, it would have come out 2 days ago.
Yeah.
And really excited because it's nice to see obviously new stuff coming through and being pushed through, and we love that. We love a game getting updated and having things to look forward to, which is great. Really, I'm personally really excited about the new ranking system. I think that's going to be exciting and fun and something else to work towards. How are you feeling about that? I know it's something that you've wanted for a long time in the game. How do you feel that has been implemented? Do you feel like it's been implemented correctly? What's your feelings about it?
Yeah, it's a little bit of mix. So basically with the ranking system, it's progression. It's a progressional system.
Yeah.
I would have loved for it to be Halo 3 style, which was you had it in each. Did you have it in each playlist? I would love for it to be if you play Ranked Arena, your games qualify to that, and you get to Onyx General in Ranked Arena, know, or whatever. It being progression system, it's still cool. I still I even catch myself. I was playing yesterday and I'm ooh, what?
You want to have a look?
I was let me go see. So it's still cool, but it's not necessarily what I would have 100%.
Right.
I would have literally hard copied Halo 3. Maybe they I'm trying to think back. If you're in the comments, let me know. I'm trying to think to it. I feel like it was a different system. I feel like it went per playlist, but maybe I'm wrong.
So you had a different rank per playlist,
I thought
which
you did.
I think would
I
have been
thought you
perfect,
did.
yeah.
I thought you did, but now I'm sitting here going like, ooh, I don't know. I'm not 100% sure. Yeah, but it's cool nonetheless. I think even if I could be harsh on it and say like, I don't love it, it's still cool to get something different and to throw something into the game. They updated the store, which is really cool.
Yeah, I gotta say, I think that they have found a really good flow with the store, with what things look like and getting even more exciting stuff in.
It just looks like the new weapon models.
Yes. Yeah. I've also had like conversations and this is like a little bit of intel without giving you too much and without getting me fired as well. But I've had some really interesting conversations with some cool people who do know a lot about what's to come. And let me tell you, there's some really creative stuff coming.
That's cool.
To make you look cool. So we can definitely get excited about the store a little bit more. Because some of the ideas that are coming out and some of the things that I know that are happening are really good. So there is that to look forward to in terms of creativity, looking different, feeling good about like your Spartan and you know, it's going to be cool.
We were like freaking out in a good way. We were freaking out because we saw, I think we were watching Collect stream, shout out Collect. And he was using a like BR weapon model that was like you just got it from the battle pass. I think he bought it, so he's a little, I think he bought like all the way through.
Oh, did he?
Yeah, he had to. There's no way he got to level 50 in like an hour, you know.
Oh my god.
But I was like, stuff like that I think is really like just the customization side of it. You know, you pay a little bit of money obviously to get the battle pass, but when you can get really cool stuff. This isn't like a promotion, by the way. No, I'm just saying. I actually saw it.
It's nice to get excited about it.
I actually saw him and was like, oh, I got to get the battle pass. Like, oh, that's cool. I want to get that.
Love that.
Yeah, so it's really cool. I just hope we desperately need, this is like a wish list, obviously. Like, network stuff needs to be fixed. Yesterday, network-wise, felt a lot better, but I'd say that usually happens. Like, anytime I play a new season, I'm like, oh, it feels better. And then, like, we'll see what happens in a week. So I always hold off. We desperately need, in my opinion, a champ rank like we had in Halo 5 and a in-game leaderboard. Yeah. Those are two things that I really, really hope at some point down the line we can get.
I like that. Wish list.
Yeah.
That's just going to go straight
those
there.
Those are the next three. Next three things to get.
Okay.
They're doing cool stuff. The new customization, love all of it. Infection coming in. That would be, that'd be the next.
I love that.
Probably next step for
VR.
me. That's a whole separate topic. That's down the road. There's rumors of it and stuff. We'll see. I'm really.
And a scope on the
on the Bandit.
Yeah.
Throw a scope on the Bandit.
I am very excited about all of it. Obviously, one of the big things that we've been seeing clips of it because obviously we've got new equipment in the game. Is the quantum locator, right? Translocator. Quantum translocator.
Yeah, I think so.
It's a really QT. We call it QT.
Yeah,
QT.
Sure.
QT.
Sure.
QT. Quantum translocator. Some really interesting clips of that. I saw Lucid's clips the other day.
Yeah.
That was hilarious because the timing of that on Argyle.
Yeah.
Like going where like the sniper spawn is on that elbow. I was like, God damn. Like, God help us all.
It's for like a triple frenzy or like triple kill frenzy. Yeah. I mean, he's
but just like, it makes me a little scared.
Yeah.
I'm not going to lie. It makes me a little scared because it feels really, I don't know, predictably unpredictable, if that makes any sense. Like it's really, I think if you don't have it, it's going to be really strange to like keep up like strategy, like how to counter strat it.
Yeah.
Because I mean, I feel like there are ways to counter strat a overshield. There are ways to counter strat a camo to a certain degree. I don't know how that is going to figure itself out, especially with 5 uses.
Yeah.
Another question I have, which you might be able to answer because I haven't seen it yet and I need to play, but if you die with it after having used it once, does it drop on the ground and you have 3 uses left for that person, or is it burned?
I think it's burned.
Okay, so it is burnt the same way as a camo would be burnt.
I think it's burned. I think if you clicked it and you die with it, I think it's done.
If you haven't used it yet and you're just carrying it around,
I'd imagine it drops on the floor because it's an equipment.
Yeah.
So if you die with it, it's the same way of like if you die with a shroud or a pulsar or whatever. The thing that I look.
But if you died with a grapple after having used only one grapple, there's 2 grapple. Like, there's more grapples.
Yeah,
left.
but so the thing is with the 5 uses is that it starts at it starts a timer,
right?
And then so like I think once you click it, I think like that's it. I think you've used it. You know what I mean? I don't think you could.
I'm sure everyone in the comments will know.
Yeah.
But I'm sure you're also correct too.
I haven't used it yet. So. I haven't used it.
Let us know, because I'm not sure how that works.
I haven't played any ranked arena. I've played a bunch, but I've been playing like FFA and rank. They have Rank Slayer in now. I've been playing Rank Slayer. I haven't gotten a chance to use it, so I'm not necessarily sure.
Another question, just in terms of the way that you've seen it, obviously in clips and work, do you feel like it also might actually help with spawns as well? So like if you have put it somewhere and you come back to a certain place, are you able like to use that to your advantage to split like spawns and block? Yeah. Would you say or not really?
I would say probably. I mean, I imagine like where you are on the map influences. I'd have to see if the portal. This is like all stuff I'm gonna figure out after Arlington. Right now, there's just no point to go into detail, not detail, but into customs and trying to figure it out. Your sparring influences where your spawns are for the most part. Something's not perfect. But I'd have to see. The big question is if the portal would influence
the spawn.
A spawn.
So like if the portal's set there, but your spawn actually isn't there, would that technically be like a location where your spawn?
Like if you're on live fire and you're at A and you pop it and you walk to back green or back B,
would that still count you're there?
Would you be blocking? And then you go back to A.
That's the big question.
You know what I mean? Because you could technically keep going back and forth.
Yeah.
We'll see.
Who knows? Like I mean, you guys will figure it out, because it's very interesting, because that obviously, like, if you're able to be technically like on a map, like say that's true, right? Say that is the case. You're in 2 places at once. That's a huge amount of area that you're covering.
I imagine
to block a spawn.
Without playing with it yet, and I'll probably know this literally by today. Full transparency, I'll probably go play and be able to figure it out within a couple of games, but like before warming up. But you'd probably be able to split spawn people pretty easily.
Yeah, I think you would.
You could block green.
Yeah.
And then you can go back and block A. And then like if your teammate blocks the dummy side, then now you know that they're spawning. Then now you know that they're gonna spawn. You know what I mean? It'd be hard with timings, but this is, by the way, it's not on live fire. I'm using it as an example.
No, exactly.
It's on Argyle and on
Aquarius.
In place of camo.
In place of camo, I'm very interested in seeing it for sure.
I gotta see how I feel about it.
That it's been put on.
No, yeah.
And replaced with.
I gotta see how I feel about it, because off first like jump, I'm not a huge fan of it. Like just off like the ideology of it, I'm kind of like, ooh, like this is getting a bit like ridiculous. Like, but at the same time, I always try to like not judge stuff. I'm like, look, I thought when I saw the grapple, I was like, okay, like Jesus, now I love the grapple. You know, so I always try to like.
The grapple's sick.
I know, but when I first saw the grapple, I was like,
well, then maybe you got to warm up to it. What I will say is, like, my personal opinion, when we were kind of going through the season 4 opening and telling everyone what to expect in Dallas, my initial thought was like, that is so sick. Like I can't wait to use that and play it. But when it comes to competitive, in my head, I'm thinking, how does it fit? How does it work? How does it fit? Is it a little Mickey Mouse? You know, when you get into competitiveness, just because of like I would say, do I go as far and say maybe lack of skill to use it, because you're literally just bouncing back and it's like, you know what I mean? You're not. Do you know what I'm trying to say? So I don't know. Like,
I don't think
there might be a major part of skill to it.
Yeah.
I don't know. And I honestly, pro players always find some type of skill gap in any type of thing that they pick up. So I don't know, but it's like, it's one of those things. I think when something new comes out that is so different and has never been done before, I do feel like there's always that question mark. I love
it for casual play. I think it, like just straight up, like the ideology of it and how it works, I think is freaking sick. And like I can't wait to go into like a ranked Team Slayer game and play it and use it. And like I'm gonna like world star some people using it. It's like you said, competitive is always like, you gotta wait to play it to really experience it to see if it works or doesn't work. And some people hate on that because they're like, oh, you just don't want anything new and stuff like that. And it's like, it's literally not that at all. It's
not that, guys.
It's just trying to keep the game competitive. You know, and that's literally it. Because you could have any settings you want at the end of the day. You know, I remember going back, I said I was going to talk about it a long time ago, or someone said like, it feels like I'm going to like sub say it. I don't really paraphrase it. Sorry. But someone was like saying like it feels like players don't want anything new and stuff like that. And it's like that's not. I don't think that's not it.
It's just like obviously like it's something that you have to like get used to and work, and they're quite big change. Like they're big changes to the game. Yeah. Like they're very, very big changes to the game. So it's just like, yeah, it's just having to get used to it. Speaking of that, the last thing that I wanted to talk about was obviously not having the season 4 changes and updates in the major. Yeah, in the OpTic major. Now, I was in Barcode's stream yesterday.
I saw you in there.
Love Barcode. Did you? Did you actually?
I was screaming. I had his stream open. I saw. I didn't see. I just saw your name. I didn't see what you guys were talking about. But.
So I was in Barcode stream. Love a Barcode stream. Shout out Barcode. We are big fans of you in this house.
Just a happy guy.
Just the best guy. I see him, truly, like, the best vibes. Vibes always on point. Just love him. So I was in there, and you know they were obviously chatting about season 4 and the updates, and obviously the quantum translocator came up. What a name that is. That is just such a long name. It came up in conversation. Now Alec, being the way he is so positive and so he's such an opportunist, and like he just takes everything in it really is just like the hype. Like he just is like happy to be here, and I love it. But we, you know, I was talking to him and having quite a large discussion. Richie Hines is also in there. And anyway,
the whole gang.
He was chatting to Richie at first, and I thought, I'll pipe in and say hello. So I said hello. But Barcode was actually really overall saying that he wishes that we were playing on season 4 in Arlington. He like, yeah. So I was quite shocked by that. And he said like if he had it his way, he would have everything new in the game like now.
Okay.
Like ready to go. 10 days, not even 10 days out.
Yeah.
Richie goes, well, noted that down. Obviously your opinion matters. So I go, oh, hold on. So I go in and I was like, well, this is how I see it. I think it is far too early to put something as large as new equipment pieces, new maps, etc. in the game.
And you're removing stuff too.
Yeah, you're removing things. I was like, we're not even 10 days out of the event because, for example, like, you know, we may be 10 days out, but like, you have to then travel. You don't get to like be on this, you know, on the thing. It's just it's too short of time for teams to A, get used to all of these new changes, B, have sufficient practice with all of these new changes, C, actually come up with strategy and team-based mechanics on these new things. It's just way too risky to be putting something like that in the game this close to a LAN event. And I love the fact that 343 and Halo made the decision to get you guys to be playing on previous settings, because I think that is the most controlled competitive environment you can get ahead of a major. You know, and I then went on and explained like the amount of money on the line, the rewards, the flowers that you guys get for winning a major is such a big deal that it's too risky to be putting things like that and just kind of like throwing up in the air and going, well, what happens. Like everyone's in the same boat. We don't like that. We don't like how that works. And I love that 343 have taken the kind of liberty to control that and make sure that you guys are playing in the same way that you've been working hard and hard, hard day in, day out for the past month on, because otherwise all that hard work was for nothing. So that's what I was trying to implement. Barco's just like, but it's really fun. I was like, I literally love you, dude, so much. But like, no.
It's just the easiest way to explain it, and this is why I agree with you, is because you're talking about people's careers and livelihoods. Yeah. At the end of the day, if you go to an event and you're playing on different settings and maybe you have a rough time, it takes you a little bit longer to adjust. Your team doesn't perform as well. You're looking at people losing their jobs.
Yeah, getting dropped, getting this, that.
I get in the sense of like, it could be fun, you know, like it could be cool to see this new thing in. No one knows what's going to happen, but you know, at the end of the day, we're trying to run a competitive league. So I just think a competitive league that impacts.
It has to be done away from a large scale major. Yeah. Like it has to be done away. Like, you know, and he made, you know, Alec made a good point. Barco made a good point. He was like, I just really want to see like the differences and the comparison to like what it's going to be like. I just would rather play on the same settings for the rest of the year that I am. And I thought to myself, like, there's probably going to be another update for the rest of the year anyway. Something I'm sure. Yeah. But second, it's like you will play on that afterwards. Like get the reward for your hard work this month. Yeah. And then have the grind for the next time and then compare it then, you know? So it's like, he totally agreed with me, which is nice. And, it wasn't like a bad discussion at all. It was like a really interesting one.
I didn't think it
but
would
it just
be.
made me realize actually how happy-go-lucky Barcode really is. Like, he is the chillest dude I've ever met in my life.
That's funny. He's a youngin'. He's new.
So
new.
Cute.
Give him a couple years and he'll be like, nah, don't,
Yeah.
But I respect it. Hey, look, if you
Richie did say Lottie's been around for a long time. She knows what's up. So I was like,
I can respect. Look, I respect other people's opinions. If he feels that way, he feels that way.
Yeah.
Like, I have my feeling on it. It's just a lot of money. It's a lot. You're playing for a lot of money. You're playing for livelihoods. You're playing for jobs. I'll go back to Charlotte and just say we don't have to talk about it too much because I don't want this to be like a negative part of it. But Charlotte, they messed the game up and they messed up. They changed weapon timings and then they changed the ability to move the objective. Being an objective player like myself, I'll say my feelings were very hurt because
John had a real fumble.
We had multiple times throughout the tournament where we messed up our rotations because of the heaviness of the objective that had occurred. Obviously that's fixed now, but a week before a tournament just isn't the time.
And you know what? I think this is a major dub from 343. I'm really pleased.
I am really, really happy. The only thing I will say that I do wish is that, it's always tough because like other games you go back and play on old patches. With this, we're not technically playing on an old patch, but we're still playing on old settings. So
yes. Yeah,
I'll take it. I'll take it. It's good. Yeah. I'm not going to complain about it. There's been like things with season 4 of the people. It's always people
the
get
slide.
The people.
Sliding.
There's things about the sliding might be messed up. It might not be. So that's where I get worried about the updates coming out before. Yeah, because I'm like, I think
there is always that worry. But I think what is really good about
we're the best of the in between. It's the best in between we could ask for.
It's clearly being thought about.
Yes,
like that's being thought about is the competitive integrity. Like that's huge. That's really good.
Not only, and I will give credit because I give them enough flack to where I need to give credit.
Yes, you do.
I got to give credit to Richie. Richie Hines and Wes, obviously Clutch, for getting us the game types to practice online. If you load up Infinite and you go to Aquarius, you'll see it says
what
Aquarius.
You'll be playing at the major.
Because what I was worried was like, okay, they said you're not gonna play. Like, I know we got to wrap up here, but they had said you'll be playing at Arlington in the previous settings.
Yeah, but then you wouldn't be able to practice with that for the week.
I was worried that we'd go a week without practice.
That is heads up play. Huge shout out to Richie and Clutch for doing that because that is like that's solid. That's solid stuff. And it's stuff that needs to be thought about. And I love that we have people thinking about that.
Just trying to be competitive and keep integrity. And I know it. I just want to end off with saying I know it could be a little bit of like a Debbie Downer, being like, oh no, I don't want these changes and stuff like that. It's just about. It's like I said. It's just about people's jobs, livelihoods. People are playing for a lot of money. They invest a lot of time in. I just don't think it. I just use the word fair because it's competitive integrity. I just don't think it's fair to a few days before go, hey, here's this new variable, good luck. And this has been the end all be all of what you practice for and what you hope to achieve, and we're gonna throw something into it.
I love that they haven't done that, which is really, really big. It's a big dub for sure.
And I'll take it on the chin where it's like with going into the next one, hey, whatever's in is in. Like we got to go through it and figure it out.
And that's the time to start then grinding. Obviously, the new stuff that's in, and it'll be really exciting. Yeah. But folks, that's all we got time for. Otherwise, we're going to keep going on way too long. I hope you guys have enjoyed this episode. Obviously, we weren't drinking any coffee today. Honestly, this is like a bit of a reset for me. Like this is, we're jumping on, obviously wanting to give you an episode, but like I'm so tired. I'm gonna have a nap probably right after this. To be honest, I'm gonna get this on the export and just have a little nap and just do nothing for a minute before I start all of my homework for Halo again and get things going. Got a lot of meetings coming up. Getting ready for this major. I'm really, really excited about it. I cannot wait. We will be able to get a podcast out next week. So we'll talk about everything coming up with the major, what to expect, how we're feeling about it, and going through some of the teams, especially with the changes and looking at scrum results and kind of gauging where some teams are at heading into it. So I hope you guys enjoyed the episode. We love you so much. Please leave a like if you can think of it. If you're listening on Spotify or Apple Podcasts, please do leave us a review, depending if you liked it or not, and a comment if you fancy. So we appreciate it greatly. Thank you so much for tuning in as per always. And
stay on the grind. I don't know if you're saying it or I'm saying it.
I know, I like that you said it.